It's your meeting.
Let's go. Yep. Well, welcome to everyone who decides to join us tonight. We are convening the August 10th meeting of the Economic Development Commission, the EDC, properly advertised, agenda posted. It's a 6 p.m. meeting, and we will just for those who are just joining us, we have welcomed Joe Ingalls as the third member, which completes our board. So welcome, Joe. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
And I heard Mr. Plankus on there, so I will confirm the presence of a quorum. So I am present, Mr. Lehman, Mr. Plankus.
Present.
Mr. Ingalls.
Present.
We have a full quorum. Tonight we will be considering some business with a software engineering professionals, SEP. Prior to that, we will review the minutes from our May 18th meeting. Those have been circulated. They are downloadable, reviewable, and at this time, I would consider a motion for approval.
This is Joe Plankus. I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you.
And this
Is there a
Joe,
second?
Joe Ingalls, second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I think everything looks good. I reviewed them. I think it's as presented. So we'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Joe Plankus, aye.
Chuck Lehman, aye.
Joe Ingalls, aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we're going to get into the business of our meeting, and we're going to consider and introduce Resolution 20-02. And to do that for us, to give us a recap, overview, and explanation, we're going to turn to Catherine Anello. So, Catherine, please join us and give us an introduction of this resolution.
All right, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Yep.
All right. All right. Well, you have before you a resolution, which also includes a project report on the SEP project. And as a little background, the city, the Westfield Redevelopment Commission, and Pure SEP LLC, which will be the developer on this project, entered into a memorandum of understanding which described the project, described certain economic development assistance from the city in the form of certain incentives, and it laid out the overall development and completion of the project. So what you have before you in the report, which is attached to your resolution, is a summary of the project, and in the resolution, a recommendation to the city to issue bonds for the project, which would be payable from 80% of the tax increment generated from the project. The Redevelopment Commission has set up a TIF allocation area for this project, which includes one parcel, upon which a portion of which will be used for the development of for the actual project site. This project site will serve as SEP's corporate headquarters. That was Software Engineering Professionals, Inc., which is an Indiana corporation. The bonds are solely payable from that 80% of tax increment generated in this TIF area. And I believe that is a summary, or a short summary. If there's anything else that I can answer, we may also have SEP representatives on the call as well. Let me mention that you also have some forms of documents to recommend to the council as well, which includes the bond ordinance, a form of financing and loan agreement, and a form of trust indenture. And each of these documents, as you know, the bond ordinance lays out the conditions and requirements for the issuance of the bonds. The financing and loan agreement and the trust indenture are fairly standard form documents that we use in the deals, but do lay out all of the specifics with respect to how the bonds are paid, and the representations and warranties of the developer, and other necessary legal information.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have scheduled tonight a public hearing on this matter, and we will open that public hearing, at which point welcome any public comments, and then after that, if the board so chooses, they can answer those questions or have other questions. So it is now 6:06, and I will officially open the public hearing, and would yield to Kevin Todd. Kevin, do we have anything that should be entered into the record? Has anybody written a request or made comments, or does anybody from the public want to be heard at this time?
Yeah, this is Kevin. I have not received anything so far.
Assuming that this is being broadcast properly, which I'm sure it is, and if there's others wanting to be heard, now would be the time. Do we hear anybody from the public? Hearing and seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 6:07 p.m. At this time, I would welcome any comments for discussion or questions from the board members. It is our duty and responsibility to review these documents, and our consideration is for this resolution. So, gentlemen, if you have any questions or comments, now is the time.
Joe Plankus, no comments at this point. I've read the documents, and the accuracy is there as we had passed the resolution from the Redevelopment Commission. Excellent project, some very high-paying jobs, and in a great location. It'll be a wonderful addition, I think, to our community, our business community. That's the extent of my comments.
Joe, do you have anything?
At this time, yeah, I've looked through it and it looks good to me also, and excited to see the project get started.
Oh, good. I also reviewed the ordinance, which is our duty just to look that over. The city council will obviously be working on that, and the economic bond financing plan. I reviewed those documents, and everything seems to be in order, so I'm ready to proceed. So in regards to resolution 20-02, do I have a motion for regarding the approval or acceptance of that resolution, please?
This is Joe Plankus. I move that we approve resolution 20-02.
Thank you, Mr. Plankus. Is there a second?
This is Joe Ingles, and I second that.
Thank you. Properly motioned and seconded. It's on the floor for consideration with no further questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Joe Plankus, aye.
Joe Ingles, aye.
Chuck Lehman, aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. That completes the published agenda of the business that we need to act on tonight. Do either of the commissioners, do you have anything else to bring before this body?
Joe Plankus, no, I don't.
Joe Ingles, no.
Okay, at this point, I think our business is complete. I would accept a motion for adjournment.
Joe Plankus, move that we adjourn the meeting of the Westfield Economic Development Commission.
Thank you.
And this is Joe Ingles, and I second that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Joe Plankus.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your participation. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Catherine.